People love the idea of transformation, the thought that one day, just one day, they'll wake up and suddenly be different, stronger, smarter, more powerful. They want to believe that change is something that just happens, like magic, like fate, like a miracle waiting to be delivered straight to their front door. But that's not how the world works, is it? People don't realize how trapped they are, stuck in a loop, playing the same role over and over again. They wake up as the same person, go to sleep as the same person, and then they wonder why nothing in their life ever changes. It's almost funny watching them expect a different outcome while doing the exact same things. They don't see it. They don't see that the biggest thing holding them back, the reason they're weak, the reason they're stuck, isn't the world, isn't their circumstances, isn't some grand conspiracy keeping them down. It's them. It's their identity. The character they've been playing for so long, they don't even question if it's real anymore. The person they believe they have to be, because that's just how it's always been. The one who's always struggling, always waiting, always stuck. And the best part, they don't even realize they're wearing a mask. Not one they chose, one that was forced on them. One that was shaped by the world, by expectations, by fear. A mask built out of other people's opinions, their doubts, their limitations. They've been programmed to believe they are that person, the one who hesitates, the one who second guesses, the one who's always one step behind, always looking at others, wondering why they get to win, why they get to rise, why they seem to move through life like they own it, while they themselves are stuck, invisible, nothing more than a shadow. But here's the trick, the little secret no one tells you. There is no rule that says you have to stay the same. No law that says you have to wake up tomorrow as the same person you were today. You can destroy it all, tear it down, rip the mask off, throw it away, and become something new, something unrecognizable. But that's the part that scares people the most, isn't it? Not failure, not pain, not even hard work. What scares them is losing the comfort of who they used to be. Even if that person is weak, even if that person is broken, even if that person is miserable, because at least it's familiar. At least they know what to expect. At least they don't have to face the unknown, step into the darkness, and become someone they've never met before. But that's the price. That's the cost of power. The old you has to go. Every thought, every habit, every weakness that's been keeping you exactly where you are, it has to be destroyed, burned to the ground, not little by little, not gradually, all at once, no hesitation, no looking back, because the second you hesitate, the second you start reminiscing about who you used to be, you've already lost. People think transformation is slow, that it takes years, that it's something that happens gradually, little by little. That's because they've been lied to. They've been told change takes time, that it's a process, that they need to ease into it. But the ones who actually change, the ones who become something new, they don't waste time. They don't dip their toes in the water. They dive in head first with no way back. They make a decision and they don't break it. Because that's the only way. The only way to truly become someone else is to kill the old you completely. Not modify it, not improve it, destroy it. Erase the patterns, the routines, the old thoughts that kept you weak, because the moment you do that, really do that, you'll notice something terrifying. The way people look at you shifts. The way they talk to you, the way they react to you. it all changes. Not because they changed, but because you did. Because you're no longer playing the role they expect. You're no longer fitting into the little box they put you in. You've rewritten the script, thrown away the old version of yourself, and stepped into something entirely different. Something they can't predict. Something they don't recognize. And that's the moment you realize you were never trapped by the world. You were only ever trapped by who you thought you had to be. People say they want to change. They scream about it, cry about it, dream about it, but when it comes time to actually do something, they get distracted. Their phone buzzes, someone calls, some little inconvenience pops up, and suddenly they tell themselves, maybe I'll start tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next month. And just like that, they're back in the same place, back in the cycle, back to nothing. Distraction is the deadliest disease, but nobody treats it like one. People carry it around like a pet, like it's a part of them, like they couldn't live without it. They don't even notice how it eats away at them, how it turns hours into dust, how it whispers in their ear, telling them they have plenty of time, when in reality, they don't. Time is slipping. Every second wasted is a second they'll never get back, but they don't see it. They don't want to see it, because seeing it means admitting they're the reason nothing in their life ever changes. It's easy to blame the world, to say I would have done it, but I was too busy, or I had too much going on, or I just wasn't in the right mindset. The truth, they had the time, they had the opportunity, they just didn't have the focus. They let the noise of the world control them, let every little thing pull them away from what actually matters, and then they wonder why they feel empty. Why they feel weak, why they can't seem to get anywhere no matter how much they want to. Wanting something means nothing. Everybody wants something, everybody wants success, power, change, but only a few actually take it. And the difference? Focus. Not just ordinary focus, not the kind where you sit down for 5 minutes and then scroll through your phone, the kind that makes people uncomfortable. The kind that looks obsessive, the kind that makes the world feel like it's gone silent, like nothing exists except the one thing you're chasing. The kind that makes people say, what happened to you? The kind that makes them nervous because suddenly you're not like them anymore. Most people can't do it. They try for a little while, they sit down, they work, they push. But then their mind starts itching, looking for a way out. Maybe I should check my messages. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should just relax a little. And before they know it, they're gone. They don't even realize they've been hijacked, that their mind has been trained, conditioned, because distraction is easy. It's comfortable. It doesn't hurt. But you know what does hurt? Real focus. Because real focus means cutting things off. It means shutting out the noise, ignoring the messages, turning your back on the world while you build something they can't even imagine. It means saying no to people, to comfort, to anything that doesn't serve you. It means sitting in the silence and doing the work even when it's boring, even when it's exhausting, even when everything in you wants to stop. And that's why so few actually change. Because it's not just about work. It's about discipline. It's about control. It's about looking at every little thing, trying to steal your time, every message, every call, every meaningless conversation, and saying, not today. It's about deciding, I am not like the rest. I do not move like them. I do not waste time like them. I do not break focus like them. Because the moment you take control of your focus, you take control of your life. people will notice. They'll try to pull you back. They'll say you're too intense, too distant, too different, because they want you to be distracted. They want you to be just like them, scattered, weak, unfocused. But once you break free, once you see how much time you wasted, once you realize how much you can build when you cut out everything useless, you'll never go back. People talk too much. They think that if they say the right words, if they explain themselves enough, if they get people to understand them, they'll be respected. They think words have power, but they forget words are cheap. Anyone can say anything. Promises, plans, big ideas, it's all just noise. And the more you talk, the weaker you seem. Because real power doesn't explain itself. It doesn't announce its presence. It doesn't warn people. It just moves. It acts. It does what needs to be done without asking for permission, without begging for approval. Most people don't get this. They want to be heard. They want people to notice them, so they talk. They say what they plan to do, what they want to be, how they deserve success. But they don't realize every word they say is just another chance for the world to doubt them, to laugh at them, to poke holes in their ambition. Because the moment you start explaining yourself, you've already lost. You've already given the world a reason to question you. The strong don't talk. They don't make announcements. They don't need people to believe in them. They move in silence. They build in the dark. They understand that real power isn't spoken, it's felt. It's in the way they walk into a room, the way they carry themselves, the way people sense something different about them without a single word being said. Because words can be faked, but presence can't be copied. Presence is built through action, through discipline, through becoming so undeniable that people don't need to hear you speak to know you're different. But most people don't have the patience for that. They want attention now. They want recognition now. So they open their mouths, tell the world their plans, share their thoughts, let everyone in on what they're doing, and then they wonder why things don't go their way, why their plans never work out, why they always feel like they're being held back. It's because they gave the world too much access, too much information. They let people see their next move, and the second people see your next move, they have the power to stop it. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It makes them nervous, because most people are predictable. They say exactly what they're thinking. They wear their emotions on their faces. They react. But silence makes people wonder. Silence makes them second guess. Silence controls the room. Because when you don't talk, people have to guess what's going on in your head. They don't know if you're angry, if you're planning something, if you're 10 steps ahead, or if you're not even paying attention. And that uncertainty, that mystery, that's power. The weak always reveal their hand too early. They get excited. They want to prove themselves. They tell people what they're about to do before they've even done it. And then if they fail, they look like a fool. And if they succeed, they just gave everyone the blueprint on how to stop them next time. The strong don't make that mistake. They keep quiet. They work in the shadows. They let the results do the talking. And by the time people realize what they've done, it's already too late to stop them. Silence isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about control. It's about learning to sit in a room and say nothing while people scramble to figure you out. It's about being so disciplined that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need validation. You don't need people to understand you. You just move. And when you do speak, it means something. Because when a silent man talks, people listen. When someone who never wastes words finally says something, it carries weight. Most people will never understand this. They'll keep talking, keep explaining, keep trying to impress people with words instead of actions, and they'll keep wondering why they never get anywhere. But the ones who do understand, the ones who get it, they don't need to convince anyone of anything. They don't need to prove themselves with empty promises. They don't need to be loud. Because real power doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. People love comfort. They cling to it like a warm blanket, wrap themselves in it, tell themselves it's all they need. They sit in the same routines, talk to the same people, think the same thoughts, and then wonder why nothing ever changes. They say they want to be powerful, but they don't want to do what power requires. Because real power demands pain. It demands discomfort. It demands that you walk straight into the fire, knowing it's going to burn, knowing it's going to break you, knowing it's going to rip away everything soft, everything weak, everything that makes you just like everyone else. But people don't like that. They want results without the struggle. They want the reward without the price. So they stay where it's safe. They avoid the pain, the pressure, the suffering. They think they're being smart, think they're protecting themselves. But what they don't realize is that the comfort they love so much, that is the real trap. That is the thing keeping them weak. Because comfort doesn't make you stronger. Comfort doesn't sharpen your mind. Comfort doesn't turn you into something unbreakable. It just keeps you exactly where you are. Stagnant, soft, powerless. Most people don't even see it happening. They tell themselves they'll change tomorrow, they'll push themselves next week, they'll get serious when the time is right. But the time is never right. There is never a perfect moment. There is only now. And every second wasted waiting for some magical motivation is a second spent getting weaker. Because while they're waiting, someone else is working. While they're avoiding pain, someone else is embracing it. While they're getting softer, someone else is getting strong. And one day they'll look around and realize they're at the bottom, that all the people they used to think were just like them aren't anymore. That the ones who were willing to suffer, the ones who were willing to go through hell, the ones who understood that pain is the cost of power, those people pass them by. And there's no catching up. Because strength isn't built overnight. It's built in the trenches, in the days when you don't feel like it, in the moments when your body is screaming at you to stop, when your mind is begging for a break, when everything in you wants to go back to comfort, and you say, that's where real power is born. Not in talent, not in luck, not in natural ability, but in the moments when you suffer and keep going anyway. The people at the top, they weren't born different. They weren't handed something special. They just understood what others refused to accept. That pain is the entry fee to anything great. That suffering isn't a punishment. It's a tool, a weapon, a way to carve yourself into something the world can't ignore. But most people, they run from it. The second things get hard, they fold. The second they feel discomfort, they look for a way out. They tell themselves they're not ready, that it's too much, that they'll try again later. But later never comes. Because the truth is, they don't want to change. They just like the idea of change. They like thinking about being powerful. But actually becoming powerful, that's different. That's painful. That's ugly. That's something most people aren't built for. But the few who are, they don't complain. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for the right moment. They take every bit of pain, every moment of struggle, every ounce of suffering, and they use it. They don't run from it. They seek it, because they know that every scar, every wound, every second spent in discomfort is turning them into something unstoppable. Something the world can't break. Something that doesn't just survive, but dominates. People are obsessed with what others think of them. They walk around like puppets, pulling their own strings, making sure every move is just right, just safe enough, just acceptable enough, just normal enough. They smile when they don't want to, laugh when they don't feel like it, nod along to things they don't believe in. And for what? So people will like them, so they won't be judged, so they can fit neatly into a world that doesn't care about them in the first place? It's funny, isn't it? The way people trade their own power for approval, the way they silence themselves just to blend in, the way they build cages around their own minds just so no one can call them different. They do everything they can to be accepted, to be understood, to be liked, and then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel trapped, why they wake up every day and see a stranger in the mirror. It's because they gave up who they are just to make everyone else comfortable. The truth is, people are going to judge you no matter what you do. You could be the strongest, the smartest, the most disciplined person in the world, and they'll still find something to pick apart. You could follow every rule, play every part perfectly, and they'll still say, you're too much or not enough. That's the game. And the only way to win is to stop playing, to stop caring, to stop living your life like a trained animal waiting for a pat on the head from people who don't matter. Most people will never do this. They can't. They've spent too long craving acceptance, too long shaping themselves into something digestible. They don't know how to exist outside of other people's opinions. They don't know how to be hated. And that's what really scares them, the idea that someone, somewhere, might not approve, that someone might not like them, that someone might talk behind their back, whisper their name in the wrong tone, roll their eyes when they walk into a room. The horror. But here's the thing. Being liked is overrated. Being accepted is a trap. The most powerful people in the world, they don't need approval. They don't need permission. They don't need applause. They say what they want to say, do what they want to do, become what they want to become, and they let people choke on their opinions. They don't explain themselves. They don't shrink themselves. They don't ask to be accepted. They take up space, whether people like it or not. And yes, people will talk, they'll judge, they'll hate. But hate is just proof that you're real, that you're doing something, that you're making people uncomfortable. And that's good, that's necessary, because comfort never changed anything. Comfort never made anyone powerful. Comfort never built empires. The people who change the world, who break the cycle, who rewrite the rules, They are never the ones who play it safe. They are never the ones who bow down. They are the ones who let the world talk, let the world judge, let the world throw stones, and they keep walking. Most people don't have the stomach for that. They need validation, they need to be liked, they need to know they're on the right path, doing what everyone else approves of. They'll spend their whole lives chasing that feeling, chasing acceptance, chasing approval, chasing the illusion of being enough. But the ones who make it, the ones who matter, they don't chase anything. They don't ask for permission, they don't live for applause, they do what they want, and they let the weak drown in their opinions. People talk about control like it's something they have, like they can shape the world, bend it to their will, make things happen just because they want them to. It's cute, really, the way they tell themselves they're in charge, the way they think their plans mean something, the way they believe deep down that if they just try hard enough, just work long enough, just push hard enough, everything will go exactly how they But life doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your timeline. It doesn't care how bad you want something or how much effort you put in. You can be the smartest, the strongest, the most prepared person in the world, and life will still throw a punch you never saw coming. And when it does, it won't care if you're ready. It won't care if you deserve better. It won't stop and say, "Oh, you weren't expecting that? Here, let's make it easier for you." No, no, no. Life will knock you flat, step over you, and keep moving like you were never even there. And that's the part people don't like, the part that scares them. The part that keeps them up at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why nothing ever goes the way they expect. Because deep down, they know the truth. They are not in control. And that terrifies them. So they fight it. They cling to their little schedules, their little routines, their little blueprints for how things should go. And every time something falls apart, every time life doesn't cooperate, every time they realize, again, that they are not the ones calling the shots, they panic. They fall apart, they break down, because in their minds, losing control means losing everything. But here's the trick. There was never any control to lose in the first place. It was an illusion. A lie they told themselves to feel safe, a comforting little bedtime story to make the chaos seem manageable. But the truth is, control was never real. The only thing you ever had was choice, the choice to keep going or to quit, the choice to adapt or to crumble, the choice to let the chaos consume you or to use. Because that's the secret. The powerful ones, the ones who rise when everyone else falls, they don't fight the chaos, they embrace it. They don't waste time crying over what should have happened, what was supposed to happen. They adjust, they adapt. They take whatever life throws at them, whatever mess, whatever storm, whatever disaster, and they work with it. They don't break down because the plan changed. They become the kind of person who doesn't need a plan. And that makes them unstoppable, because when you stop trying to control everything, you become immune to the fear of losing control. When you stop needing things to go a certain way, you become untouchable. When you learn to move with the chaos instead of against it, nothing can break you, because you aren't relying on a perfect outcome, on a perfect path, on everything going just right. You aren't fragile. You aren't desperate for things to be easy. You expect the chaos. You welcome it. And that makes you stronger than anyone who still thinks they can outplan the storm.